What if I told you that you could become a millionaire by the time you're 40? Sounds pretty wild, right? Well, today we're going to break down a really detailed 22-year financial journey that's designed to do exactly that, starting right from age 18. So let's walk through this plan step by step. So this whole idea kicks off with a pretty bold claim that there's this entire playbook for building long-term wealth that you just don't learn in a classroom. We're talking about a real financial strategy. So let's dive into the kind of roadmap they're suggesting. And look, the goal here it's a big one. This isn't about pinching pennies here and there. It's a systematic plan to build a seven-figure net worth by age 40, literally from the ground up. Sounds a little crazy, right? Well, according to this blueprint, it really just all comes down to the math. Here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start with the core numbers, the math behind it all. Then we'll move through three distinct phases of your financial life. And we'll finish up with the real endgame, how to build a lasting legacy. All right, first up, the $1 million math. This isn't about getting lucky or making some high-risk bet. Nope, this is a blueprint, and it's built on two things: consistency and the incredible power of compound interest working its magic over 2 decades. Okay, so here are the numbers that make the whole thing tick. The plan requires you to invest $1,180 every single month for 22 years straight. Yeah, that's a big ask, no joke. It also banks on an 8% average annual return, which, is historically in line with the stock market's performance over the long haul, but of course, never a guarantee. But if you can stick with it, the math is pretty clear. You'll hit that $1 million mark. And the secret sauce, the absolute magic ingredient here, is time. This chart just lays it all out. If you start this journey at 18, you need to put away that $1,180 a month. But get this. If you wait just 10 years and start at 28, you have to invest more than double that, over $2,800 a month, to get to the exact same place. That right there is the power of compounding in action. So let's get into it. Phase 1, we're calling it the foundation. This covers those absolutely crucial years from age 18 to 22. During this phase, there are 4 critical things you got to do. First, build that cash safety net, an emergency fund. At the same time, your number one focus should be on making more money, maximizing your income however you can. From there, you start that automated $1,180 monthly investment right away. And finally, you invest aggressively. We're talking almost all in on low-cost index funds because you've got decades to ride out any bumps in the market. So where does that money actually go? Well, the plan has a very specific pecking order. First, if your job has a 401k match, you contribute enough to get the entire match. That's free money. You don't leave that on the table. After that, your next goal is to max out a Roth IRA, where your money can grow completely tax-free. And if there's anything left over to hit your monthly goal, that goes into a standard brokerage account. All right, on to phase 2, the growth years. This is the long haul, from age 23 all the way to 35. This is where consistency really becomes your superpower. During these years, your income is probably going up. The absolute key is to avoid lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise and suddenly feel like you need a nicer car or a bigger apartment, you gotta fight that. Instead, every raise, every bonus goes straight into your investments. The goal is to fill up all your tax advantage buckets first, your 401k, your Roth IRA, and if you have one, an HSA. All while, of course, staying on top of any debt. And this brings us to a really important target. The plan suggests you should be aiming to invest somewhere between 15% and 25% of your gross income during these years. Hitting that higher end is where you can really put the pedal to the metal. It could even mean you hit your $1 million goal before you turn 40. Now for the final leg of the race, phase 3, the home stretch. This covers ages 36 to 40. And here, the focus really shifts from pure growth to protecting what you've built. So in these last few years, the game changes a bit. You're not obsessively checking your portfolio anymore. Instead, you're doing calm, quarterly check-ins just to make sure you're still on track. The plan also suggests a pretty smart, though optional, move. Think about de-risking a little. Maybe shift 10 to 15% of your portfolio into safer things, like bonds. It's kind of like you've run a marathon, and now you're just jogging the last mile to make sure you don't trip right before the finish line. So you did it. You hit $1 million. Now what? Well, according to this plan, that's not the end. It's actually the beginning of the end game, building a legacy and setting up your wealth so it can last for generations. The cornerstone, the absolute foundation of this whole legacy plan is something called an irrevocable trust. It sounds fancy, but the idea is simple. It's like a legal vault. You put your assets into it, and once they're in, they're legally separate from you. This protects them and makes it super easy to pass them down to your kids and grandkids. Now, the source material gets really specific on how to structure this. It's like a set of financial nesting dolls. It starts with turning a passion into a business, set up as an LLC to protect you. Then that LLC is owned by a holding company, and then the holding company itself is owned by your irrevocable trust. The final piece of the puzzle is that the trust buys a life insurance policy on you. When you pass away, that tax-free insurance payout floods the trust with cash, creating a self-sustaining financial engine for your family. And the plan even includes some, well, let's call them unique ideas for how the trust could be run. For example, the source suggests you could, quote, incentivize your children to have children and get a payout from the trust for being fruitful and multiplying the family. So yeah, a pretty fascinating concept for how you might structure that generational wealth. So when you pull it all together, what have you really built? Well, the argument is you haven't just gotten rich, you've built a framework for financial discipline that will last a lifetime. You've pretty much guaranteed yourself a retirement free from money worries, and you've laid a financial foundation that can support your family for generations to come. And that really leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? After seeing all the numbers and the decades of discipline this requires, is this the ultimate blueprint for financial freedom? Or is it a 22-year sacrifice that just asks too much? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.